The Bell Curve, the book that shook America's beliefs about intelligence, class, and race. What if your destiny was shaped more by your IQ than by your upbringing? What if intelligence, not race, wealth, or education, was the invisible force shaping America's class structure? These are the uncomfortable questions at the heart of The Bell Curve, one of the most controversial non-fiction books of the last 50 years. Written in 1994 by Harvard psychologist Richard Herrnstein and political scientist Charles Murray, the book caused an intellectual explosion. To some, it revealed hard truths. To others, it dressed up old prejudices in pseudo-scientific clothing. But love it or hate it, The Bell Curve demands attention. Let's break it down in 5 major themes that will make you question everything from education to equality. Intelligence is real, measurable, and predictive. At its core, the Bell Curve argues that IQ is the single most important factor shaping personal success in modern America. The authors claim intelligence can be accurately measured through IQ tests, is relatively stable over a person's lifetime, is heritable, at least partially genetic, and strongly predicts life outcomes like job performance, income, crime, and even parenting ability. They argue that IQ matters more than social class, parental income, or education level. This flies in the face of the American ideal that anyone can succeed with hard work, no matter where they start. Think about that. What if the system isn't rigged against the poor, but against the unintelligent? A new cognitive elite is emerging. Herrnstein and Murray argue that as America industrialized, cognitive skills became more valuable than ever. In the past, you didn't need a high IQ to farm, work in factories, or even rise socially. Today, in the information age, high-paying jobs, lawyers, engineers, CEOs, require mental horsepower. As a result, smart people rise to the top and increasingly marry each other, creating a self-reinforcing class of intelligent elites. The kids of these meritocrats inherit both genes and environments that foster high IQ, while those born into less intelligent households fall further behind. The result? America is becoming a stratified society, not by race or money, but by intelligence. Social problems are strongly linked to low IQ. Here's where things get even more uncomfortable. In a series of graphs and data analyses, the book links low IQ with social dysfunction. According to the authors, people with lower IQs are more likely to drop out of school, be unemployed, live in poverty, commit crimes, have children outside of marriage, and be dependent on welfare. They argue this is not just because poor people have fewer opportunities, but because lower IQ impairs decision-making, impulse control, and long-term planning. If that's true, then many modern social programs designed to level the playing field might not be addressing the real issue. Worse, they might be ineffective or counterproductive. Race and Intelligence, the chapter that set everything on fire. Chapter 13 is where the firestorm truly ignited. Here, the authors address the racial IQ gap head-on. They present data suggesting that on average, East Asians score slightly higher than whites, whites score higher than Hispanics, and African Americans score lowest. They acknowledge that the causes of this gap are not fully understood and say both genetics and environment may play a role. But they lean toward the idea that genes likely explain part of the racial IQ gap. Critics exploded. Accusations of racism, eugenics, and scientific white supremacy followed. Many scholars and civil rights groups condemned the book for ignoring environmental racism and inequality, using flawed or outdated data, and drawing genetic conclusions from correlational studies. Even today, this chapter remains largely radioactive in public discourse. But here's the thing. The Bell Curve doesn't advocate racism. It doesn't claim some races are superior in worth. What it does do is ask, what if the racial achievement gap isn't just about opportunity, but also about ability? That's a question almost no one wants to touch, but some still insist it must be debated honestly. What should we do about all this? Herrnstein and Murray's conclusions are not cheerful. They argue that America's policies, especially in education and welfare, are based on a myth that everyone is equal in ability and should be treated as such. They suggest we stop trying to send everyone to college, stop pouring money into programs that don't work, accept that some people will always struggle intellectually, and design policies that reflect natural cognitive differences. But critics ask, isn't this giving up on people? Doesn't this reinforce a caste system where those born with lower IQs are left behind? Gilbert and Murray respond, no, recognizing cognitive inequality doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we stop pretending that equal outcomes are always possible or fair. A final thought, a dangerous idea or a necessary one. The bell curve forces us to ask painful, foundational questions. What really drives success in life? Are we all equally capable or just equally valuable? If intelligence is partly genetic, how do we remain a just society? To some, this book is an intellectual iceberg, appearing objective but cold and cruel beneath the surface. To others, it's a wake-up call to face the truth about human difference and rethink how we shape policy in a meritocratic world. Here's what you must decide. Are these ideas dangerous, or is our fear of discussing them the real danger?